for any kind of talk. So this whole week we have dedicated to creating awareness amongst you, particularly those young students who are in different schools and colleges regarding runaway marriages. You must have come across such young people, girls or boys, who have taken a decision to enter into love marriage, and when their parents don't consent to it, then what the only remedy left for them is to go against the consent of society as a whole. Uh, it is very important for us to understand what is parents' consent. Parents are ultimately representing the overall society. Our parents, whatever they think about us, whatever they want us to be, they are actually representing the totalitarian view of the society as a whole. So it is a runaway marriage or a runaway couple is actually against the consent of the society, because society doesn't want love marriages or intercaste marriages. Now the concept of intercaste marriage comes into play because it has been seen, the data suggests that most of the time the runaway couples face the wrath of the society because the marriage is intercaste. The people doesn't belong to the same caste norms or the caste group which society allows them to marry into. When they are from different castes, then society feels into the troublesome, and then that will is posed through the family or the parents, because they represent the same group as the society has. So ultimately it becomes a problem and for the couple, and the only way left for them is to take this extreme step of getting married against the consent of their parents and society. So this is the basic definition of what is runaway marriage. I think you must have understood. Is it okay for you if I continue with English? It's quite understandable. This is also a suggestion from my side while being in an educational institution. If you want yourself and your educational institute to flourish, you must try to converse most of the time in English, because ultimately it is global language. I don't ask you, मतलब मैं नहीं कहता कि आपने तुसी जेड़ा अपनी माँ बोली है वो छाड़ दो. I am equally good in my mother tongue as well. तुसी मुझे पंजाबी कहोगे मैं पंजाबी भी इसी तरह बोल सकता. But ultimately if you are to compete at a global level and you are to go to different countries, so only problem which you face at the very threshold is communication, and fluent and good communication, having good stock of vocabulary with you, good words, good terminology, and that will not build in small time. It will take long period of time, and it will develop slowly, just the way you have grown from your childhood to your adulthood. In the same manner, your language will grow. So it will be better if you start it from now onwards and try to communicate with each other while messaging, text messages to send. I have seen the text message is in English and you are typing in Punjabi. Punjabi words to use type करते हो. This is not acceptable, है ना, for an educated person. So when you are messaging, find words, go to dictionaries, है ना. In every phone you have a dictionary. Try to find words for putting your feelings and emotions into it. Only then you will be able to speak and then compete on Google. So coming back to the topic, this is basic definition of what is runaway marriage. Now to start from the very beginning, I'll say first you must all be aware of valid age of marriage. Can anyone tell what is age for a valid marriage? Pardon? 21 for has it been implemented? presently the valid age for marriage is 21 years for boy and 18 years for girl. So the amendment is on angle that the marital age for girls should be increased and it should be brought on par to the age of boy, but it's yet to be implemented. Uh, so what do you think? 18 is a valid age? You think it is proper age for entering into a marital relation? So see, you all are quite mature and you at least understand that 18 is not proper age. Where you get the maturity to what I'll say handle a relation. Because entering into marriage is not just a single activity. It is actually entering into a relation which entails a lot of responsibility, a lot of maturity, understanding, a lot of experience as well to handle your emotions, to handle human psyche as well. When you will be into a relation, only then you will get to understand all this. Because whenever, if I now go into that aspect, whenever you enter into a relation, it is not simply two human beings. It is two minds, either ad item or at clash. It is two egos, two emotions, two thinkings. So there are bound to be moments which are full of emotions, ecstasy, and then depression. That those all things, love making, as well as depression, rejection, ditching. That also comes into play. So out of that, then comes mental agony and psychological harassments, all those aspects. So it is very wide arena which you tread upon when you commit for a relation. Marriage is ultimately a commitment for a relation, and now you will not go to anyone else and you are committed to one person. When two individuals take decisions to enter into marriage against consent of their parents, that is what we call a runaway marriage, because they ultimately are made to run from the home, and when they run from their home, question arises, where are they to go? So I was talking about age. This you must all know, and you must also take it to the various people which you are contacting to, your friends, your near and dear ones, your relatives. We have seen cases, there are a lot of cases in every district where normally girl is below 18 years of age when a boy entices her and enters into a marriage relation with her. So when the girl is below 18 years of age, what is the status of that marriage? Is it invalid marriage or a valid marriage in the eyes of law? It is a valid marriage until it is avoided by the party who is not of proper age. It is voidable marriage at the part of the party who is not having the age of competency. So, till the girl says that I am not happy with this marriage and comes to the court that let's finish it, till then that marriage is valid in the eyes of law. But this doesn't mean that you or anyone whom you are in contact with, you are to promote such kind of marriage, because we have already understood that 18 or age below 18 is not proper to understand the concept of marriage and to handle a marital relationship. So, though it is a valid marriage, there are other reasons for keeping it valid. Otherwise, a lot of other implications will come into play if we simply declare such kind of marriage as invalid. So, for that reason, law treats it valid. But there are implications. What are the implications? Straightway POCSO Act comes into picture. Prevention of Children from Sexual Offences Act 2012 comes into picture. It is a very stringent law, very strong. Why? Because it says that though marriage of a child below 18 years is valid, but a child below 18 years is not competent to consent for anything. When a child below 18 is not competent to consent, it means any relation with that child is against his consent, his or her consent. So any kind of physical activity with that child will straightway lead to offense of rape. And normally what we see, whenever a girl below 18 years is enticed and the medical suggests that there has been physical intimacy, then police registers a case of rape, even if there is marriage, and that too valid in the IPC. And other provisions which are attracted are kidnapping or abduction, 363, 366 IPC. All are very serious offences having punishment of around 10 years. So this must be taken into care if any girl below 18 years is going out with a boy for a marriage or is running out as a couple, then she is not only jeopardizing the entire her own, I will say, personality or her own life, but she is also putting the boy's life, liberty, and future career and prospect in serious jeopardy. Because the boy will immediately be tagged as a accused, a criminal, and a criminal case will be registered against him for all these offences under POCSO Act and IPC, which are very serious, and the trial will take place. Because ultimately consent is missing. So even if girl will come to court and say, see, I went with her with my own will, and I entered into physical relation with him with my free consent, what will happen? Such a statement will prove that there has been physical contact and her consent is irrelevant. So it will prove the case against the boy. In case of rape or sexual harassment or penetrative sexual assault, all those are offences. So this what we learn from it, that first of all we are to take care of age. You must know the age of consent. You must know valid age for marriage, and only then enter into a marital relation. Then now coming on to runaway couples. When a couple runs away, what is the next remedy for that couple? Can anyone tell? Is there anyone who has any such friends who have entered into such kind of marriage? Anyone amongst you having experience, either personal or from someone else, or anyone thinking or doing so in near future? No one? So what happens whenever a couple runs and say it is against the consent of parents? Then the parents, what they do, they normally get a case registered against the boy that our girl has been kidnapped. Police register the case. Kidnapping is a serious offense, and police will try to arrest the boy and recover the girl. In legal terminology, we call it recovery of girl and arrest of the boy. So how to save yourself from such kind of situation? The law says that such a couple has all kind of legal protection if they have got married. Now, another question is where to get married. If such a couple runs away from home, suppose they decide let's meet outside government college, and your boy says Boy says I'll come prepared with a motorcycle, and you come from your home in routine manner for attending classes, and will go away and live our own life. If your parents are not agreeing to it, let's leave it. Leave your parents. I'll leave my parents. So what is the first step they need to do? They need to get married. So where this kind of marriage can take place? Is it necessary to go to court for such a marriage? We have different setups for marriage. You marry either in a Gurdwara Sahib or in temple. Then we have a court marriage also, where you enter into a marital relation in actual court before Deputy Commissioner DC of the district. So is it necessary that such a marriage should be in front of DC only? Anyone guess? Wild guess? It's not necessary. They can get married anywhere. They don't need any other participants as well. Two of them are sufficient. They can go to any temple, they can go to any Gurdwara Sahib, enter into simple marriage by taking the Pera. So, Pera leke, they can enter into a marital relation and the marriage is valid. So, thereafter what happens? They need protection. Protection from what? There are now different kind of cases. In some cases, the couple has actual threat to their life and liberty, either from the parents or from society. We don't have that kind of panchayats in Punjab in our area, because this is quite bad area. But otherwise, in rural areas, particularly in Haryana, we have khas panchayats also. So there you will find that the whole panchayat or whole village is against the marriage, and they are finding the couple. Let's kill them and throw their bodies somewhere. So they face those kind of situations as well. So in that case, the couple has actual threat to their life and liberty. And in other cases, what we see in Punjab, in around 50% cases, they have threat from their parents or their relatives, because parents try to recover the girl forcefully. They try to find the girl, snatch her, bring her back forcefully to the house, and then to snub the matter one way or the other. So this they try to do. In other cases, what threat is? They actually have legal threat. In 50% cases, the legal threat is the threat where the parents will get the case registered against the girl. When the girl is above 18 or 18 years of age, she is having a valid age for consenting. Therefore, kidnapping offense is not made up. But still, what the parents should complain to police, that our girl has been kidnapped. Police will lodge a case. Once the case is registered, police is having the legal authority to arrest the person and to recover the girl. Police will not go into other details that they are married, they have entered into a marriage, or they are now a valid marital couple. They will simply act upon the complaint. Then other things also come into play, because police normally acts on various other considerations as well. So when police has those considerations fulfilled from the complaining party, so they tend to act in favor of the complaining party. This is what practical examples are. So now the couple has threat, either from society at large, or from their parents, or the legal threat of getting entangled into a criminal offense. So against all these kind of threats, the couple has legal protection. So where to get that protection? It is their right that they can get married. They have exercised their rights. Now society is against them, police is against them. Where to go for protection? Obviously to court. So in that case, our district court, the Court of Learned District and Sessions Judge, as well as Honorable High Court, has the jurisdiction to entertain such a couple who will file an application seeking protection. So in that application, the police administration, district administration, parents of both the parties, they are uh, they are pleaded as parties by the couple. Then court summon all those persons and ask them what is the problem. The couple has entered into a marriage. What is your problem? Court will assess is there any actual threat. Accordingly, court will pass the orders. Now, when I am telling this all, it looks quite simple, but otherwise there is a lot of practicality involved. Because going to a court, filing an application is not an easy process. You need a lawyer for that. Then the lawyer need to draft a case. When the case is to be drafted, there is requirement of documents, wherein the identities of the person, both the runaway couple, that is clear, their age is clear, whether they are above 18 and 21 or not. So documentation is required. Then what you learn from it, if anyone is running to enter into a marriage against consent of their parents, they must carry their valid documents as well. To ultimately approach the court. You must not leave your proof of age, proof of residence, or some educational qualification document at your home. You should carry them along. It will help you a lot.
Okay, sir.
So now the thing is, what our purpose is, because I am from District Legal Services Authority, and we have lot many seminars prior also with all of you. So you must be knowing that legal services institutions provide legal aid, free legal aid to all needy, to everyone who is in need of any kind of legal service, whether it is legal advice or a free legal aid counsel, advocate, or any court fee or any such thing. So the most appropriate forum for such a couple is to approach the legal services institution of that area. If you are in some subdivision, we have subdivisional legal services committee, and if you are at district, we have district legal services authority. The office of these institutions is always near about court, somewhere near in or around court. So you can simply ask where is the office of legal services authority, and you straightway go to that authority and tell them this is all the case. We have entered into marriage with our consent, and now parents are against us, or society is against us, or police is finding us. So what we should do? So you will get free legal guidance as well as a legal aid counsel, because women, whether women of any age, of any caste, any religion, she is entitled to free legal aid. So being a lady, she will be given an advocate, and then you can pursue your litigation, legal battle, I will say, against your own parents or society. That is your right. Then what other arrangements are there? For such couples, we have nodal officers. There is a Department of Women Development and Social Security. In every district there is a office. It will always be either in the district, either in, near or around DC office. Wherever Deputy Commissioner's office is located, you will also find an office of Child and Women Development as well as Social Security. They are nodal agencies. For such couples, they are nodal agencies. Means, what it means? They are to take care of all such couples, that they don't get hurt, that they are not harassed, or no offense is committed against them by anyone. They are to actually provide all kind of shelter and protection. Now, shelter comes into picture. So such a couple also has a right that if they need to spend a day or two or few days and they don't have any place to go, then district administration is under responsibility to arrange for shelter for such a couple, either at some rest house or some other convenient place where they don't have any kind of threat from any side. It normally happens on the orders of district and session judge. Once you file your case with the court, district and session judge, after analyzing the actual threat perception, the court will order for your shelter or protection to you. If any kind of police protection is required, that can also be provided. So these are all the rights of runaway couple. Now it's up to you. Anything you want to ask related to this topic or otherwise as well. Anything? Any doubt? I think you have learned something. For a valid marriage, suppose you are going to a Gurdwara Sahib and entering into a marriage. Gurdwara Sahib makes an entry in their register and also issues a certificate. And for that purpose, when the entry is being made, normally two witnesses are required. They can be anyone, your friend, any relative, or even unknown person. Anyone who has gone there to pay officer, है ना? कोई मत्था टेकन गया है, उन्होंने भी कुछ नाल खड़ा कर सकते हैं कि असीं ब्याह करा रहे हैं. You please become our witness. So now the question is, sir ने question पूछा है कि if later on such witness resigns or doesn't support and says कि नहीं, I was not there, these persons have never married in my presence, what will happen? First thing is, such a question will arise only if there is a challenge to that marriage or validity of that marriage. And now law says normally only parties to a marriage can challenge their own marriage or its validity. In case of minor, the natural guardian of that minor, who is father, firstly father, and if father is not there, then mother. So that natural guardian can challenge. So if any such challenge arises, then court will look into it. It will be a question of facts. Whenever there is a question of facts, the law or the court requires evidence. Court will then summon the Gurdwara Sahib official, will summon the report, it will examine the parties. Examine means record their statements, it will examine witnesses. Only then it will decide whether the marriage is valid or not. Normally when two persons are saying that we have entered into a marriage, the court will believe that it is a valid marriage until it is proved otherwise by someone. So that is very difficult to prove it in an active manner. It is very difficult task. So a problem was the sir on the any other question?
दोनों ही माइनर में दोनों को रिकवर कर लिया.
अच्छा,
वैसे केस हो गया.
पार्टन?
इधर केस हो गया.
हाँ जी.
एक बार दोस्तों पूरा स्केल कर चलेगी.
हाँ जी.
ये इस तरह भी हो सकता है जो मैंने केस भी लिखा है कुछ सीरियस के इंतजार
कितने पेज में है?
जूनियर कोर्ट के आज.
हाँ जी. देखो, whenever a boy is also a minor, now we will have two categories. Either a boy is not having marital age, means he is above 18 but below 20. The second case is the boy is below 18. So in case he is above 18, so he is a major for legal purpose. So court will consider him an adult and appropriate offences will be charged against him. So it depends whether those offences are proved in the court and ultimately how court decides the matter. But primarily offences will be charged against him and the case will be framed against him. Now suppose he is below 18, even then he is a juvenile in the eyes of law. But law says anyone above 7 years of age, below 7 years you are duly incompetent. Means you cannot commit an offence, you don't have that mind to form an intention. But if you are above 7 years of age, till 12 years of age, you can commit a crime, but court will look into it whether you had the intention, you had the capacity to make the intention to commit such a crime. If you are above 12 and below 18, you are considered juvenile. Such children are considered capable of forming an intention and committing a crime, and for all the offences committed by such children who are below 18, there is separate forum which is called juvenile justice board. So such a person, such a child, he will also be booked. Booked means case will be registered against him for appropriate offences, whatever are made out under law, and instead of producing him in regular court, he will be produced before juvenile justice board. And thereafter, juvenile justice board will look after whether he is to be granted bail or is to be kept in some protective detention or how to proceed with that case. So, case will definitely be there.
एक सब है
Yes.
सर कल सपोज अगर हमें कंप्लेंट करें फॉर सिक्योरिटी
Okay.
on the other
Apply
side
करते हैं
on the
for
other
protection.
side other side parents complain our girl is missing then what parents would be doing
Because the complaint of missing stands only till girl is not there. When girl is standing there in the court and applying for protection, the complaint of missing automatically gets cancelled. Because she is no more missing, she is there. Now the court will look into the application of the girl, whether she is entitled to a protection, what is her age, whether she is entered into a valid marriage, whether it was consensual, she had